for me it's really important to win this best of 5 to first of all get to Stockholm. I think we like play there. It's like a lot of fun, I can imagine, and afterwards we have all the Champion League points, so getting higher in the seed is just helping us to actually reach Worlds, which is the goal I think from nearly every LCS player.
And the goal to reach Worlds, you got to make it to Stockholm, you got to get through Fnatic. That's what both of these teams have to do. Roccat have held off Unicorns of Love in the third game. Brings us to match 4. Do they have it in them to pick up another match and look for the reverse sweep?
I mean, of course they do. It's going to come out. That's the story of Roccat, you know. They have it in them to be the best, the very best there ever was, but in scrims. Then once they get to the land, they choke or just don't do it properly or just run into unexpected situations. But right now they reacted, and that's what I really liked seeing. They got hit 2 times. They said, nope, let's try something else. This is actually a really good champion. Let's start playing it. Things start going your way. Are the Unicorns going to shift their bans right now? Because now the owners, the burden of the change is now on the Unicorns instead. Are they going to shift their bans?
Well, for Unicorns, they've not done it yet. They've banned Lulu, Fizz, and Janna all 3 games.
Yep.
Roccat mixed things up because they were on blue side as well. That also adjusts your priority. Coming into this match, UOL are back on blue side. So what is their first pick priority? Do Roccat consider banning Sivir? Try deny that? Do they let it through?
As a reaction ban, perhaps, on the Kalista. They still have a last ban, so that's something they could do. So far, it has been 100% blue side win rate, even though the majority of this team took purple. Quite interesting interaction.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the irony in that one.
Just like when I'm talking about Vardax and he does well. When I say he's doing well, he gets caught. When I'm talking about down, he does something crazy incredibly well. So my prediction for this game is that Vardax will have an incredibly mediocre performance.
What's he meant to do with that prediction?
Try and prove me wrong now, Vardax.
Well, for Roccat then, red side, they are the ones that adjusted. We know the Lulu, the Fizz, the Janna has been on the list. You feel maybe swapping the Janna pick for something else?
I think if you got to strap
focus.
A ban, it could easily be the Janna from UOL side then.
Okay.
Why not? Maybe they just don't play very well against Fizz. Maybe they're afraid of Lulu in the mid lane or even in the top lane. But Janna is, she's such a neutral to defensive type of champion. She peels very well, but so far, whichever team has had the most proactivity and aggression in the early to mid game has come out on top. Janna doesn't really strike to do that much. She's very good in disengage for poke comps though. Remember that once she opens up like a poke comp position, I guess we're done talking about Janna, she's banned.
And for Unicorns, they feel it was maybe execution. Nothing else needs to change. For Roccat, they've gone to the same ban strategy that they used to win the previous match. They leave Sivir and Kalista up. They
get rid of Chachi's annoying knowledge top lane. They respect Morgana, and for some reason, they just don't like Aurelia.
Don't want Chachi on it.
So now Vardax is thinking.
Does he challenge convention? He's 0-3 on this champion.
Challenge convention indeed. Can I do it? He's thinking. Or is Sivir just really good? Or do we not care and let the decision be made by Roccat and just pick another strong pick here?
What else is available? Junglers are up, but they've not been contested. Hylissang also had a great performance on Annie in game 1. And if you want to lock down a Kalista, hard engage could be the way.
Elise away from Jankos. Put the pressure on him to adapt. Oro has had Rek'Sai available all 3 games, could do it now. Unicorns are in this position where they're like, do you want to first pick something? No, you can first pick. No, I want to wait, I want to counter pick. Everybody wants to counter pick, and then eventually they do decide to steal the tier 1 jungler predicted into today, but only has a 33% win rate on a very massive sample size of 3 in the European LCS.
100% of the games though, including yesterday's quarterfinal as well. 2 bans, 1 play. Today, of course, Jankos played at 3 games. Now it'll be Horo's chance. Steve basically
he says, guys,
insta-lock that tree.
I can't hear you, coach. I see Maokai, I pick Maokai. Maokai, Alistar, first rotation, purple side. The mirror of what we saw last game. However, last game it was UOL doing that.
Yeah.
And the game before that, Alistar was picked up early by Roccat again. The game before that, Alistar was picked up early by Roccat again. Game 4, Alistar was picked up early by Roccat again. So very high
broken record there, Crepo.
Prioritization. I'm just waiting. I'm buying time for the next pick. You know, this removes the potential for me to actually predict the pick. Now I can sound surprised. They lock in X and Y.
Well, the AD carry threat
or
choice is still up and available, and Unicorns, we feel, are going to most likely go Sivir.
See, the problem right now in this draft, and which I like from Roccat, is you don't want to pick Kalista into Alistar Maokai. And you want to play Kalista with Alistar Maokai because you can throw Alistar in, you have so much peel for yourself, so I feel Unicorns have kind of dug themselves a hole in that regard. However, Sivir is pretty self-sufficient in terms of peeling. Now we get a Gnar top lane, something we haven't seen, but has a very high priority in terms of picks and bans over in LCK. So perhaps the Unicorns have been watching Korea.
Well, Gnar's only been played once by Vizichachi this split. Didn't go too well. 4, 6, and 5. Ended up being in a loss, in fact.
Ooh, Nidalee, I like it.
So, AP junglers again. Heavy AD from Mr. Roll. So, Nukeduck's going to have quite a lot of options in mid lane whenever he wants to run. We'll see that in a second. And of course, Jankos Nidalee has been fantastic.
Now, this is a composition that the Unicorns previously have run a lot of Orianna with, just to get these teamfights. Once they start going, have the zone here, put the ball on Gnar, he can go in, put the ball on Elise, she can go in with Repel, channel the ultimate as she lands pop, immediately down. Annie is good harding it. Annie is really good against Kalista because you just have to get to her. Once she's locked down, you can burn her before Fate's Call is even working. Leona is tricky because you have to mad life, you have to predict constantly. So many hops, even within stuns, that I feel it's hard to land an AoE than it is just like that. The bigger the AoE is, the easier it is to land, and Tibbers is obviously a lot bigger than Solar Flare.
And I just think the way Hylissang had played Annie in game 1 is most likely going to be what's locked in. It is now. Power of Evil's going to go to the Orianna, the champion he got a pentakill with earlier in the split. But just remember game 1, those roams. It was Hilly's Moby Boots early that turned the game around.
I want to see standard lanes though. I really like seeing Annie Sivir face off against Kalista Alistar because the push advantage is obviously on Sivir Alistar, but there's this one moment, the one key moment, which is Q Flash from Alistar as we completely ignore this hover. It's not going to happen. Ooh, the bird is the word.
Well, it wasn't last time. However, execution, maybe
I will see what he picks. He's hovering all over.
Exactly.
The matchup in bot lane is actually very, very fun to watch and has a lot of intricacies that you don't always see until you've played it a lot. So a lot of things don't happen, which is almost exciting as when they do happen, but it's kind of hard to explain it. Maybe Vander, though, will lock in that Yasuo or Jace for his mid laner. Victor.
Safe.
Yeah, I like it. I think it rounds out the composition pretty well. Victor, with sufficient peel for Maokai and Alistar, draws enough attention away from Kalista too. And Nidalee is pretty big damage threat too. So overall, sufficient damage out from Roccat. Trying to look at how short range they are, because in these compositions you always have to look at something you don't see is like you calculate damage here, but it's how easy can they land and how big is the range. In these fights, watching where Power of Evil puts his ball on the floor and just baits people in with the Orianna ultimate could be crucial for these fights. Because zone control comes out from Orianna and Paul with Cocoon, with Gnar peeling, then suddenly people can be pushed into predictable areas, and then Flash Tibbers could be enough to win you the game.
It won Hylissang and Unicorns the game in the first of the series. Mr. Rawls on Kalista won the third of the series to keep Roccat still in this one. And I feel the early to mid game is going to be so impactful, especially for UOL. They've got a lot of tools to make these wombo combos happen. The Shockwave, the Gnar and Mega Gnar, the Tibbers. But it's also so dependent on Roccat being together or grouped for it to work.
I'm just going to keep my eye on Horo and see what he can do with this Elise. I feel Elise is a champion that you should really excel at with early ganks and just find an opening. And I like Elise and Gnar as a top lane combo because I feel it's safe in its approach to ganks, even if it has, for whatever reason, the losing 2v2. Because 2v2ing into a Nidalee is extremely rough, but it has safety in its engage. It can commit when it can, and it can play at range and counter gank when it has to. However, going into game 4 right now, it's still the same.
One match away for Unicorns to book that trip to Stockholm. We heard Power of Evil talking about it. Going further in the playoffs means more likely to go to Worlds. Prove yourself on the international stage. Prove yourself against the best of the world. And it's Unicorns that have pivoted in this match with their strategy, with their composition, and Roccat have pivoted as well. Remember when they were red, games 1 and 2, they went top for the delayed invade. This time Vander's trying to sell the fake.
He's going in. Just trying to sniff out if anybody's close. Jankos, a lot of damage on Italy early. Good C5 for Flash here, but honestly, not really worth it. As a melee support... Oh, not quick enough. As a melee support, or melee support, whatever pronunciation you prefer, trading Flash for a ranged one is generally not worth it because it is so much more useful to have that Flash on Alistar in the laning phase, because once you hit level 2 or 3 with that Kalista, Q Flash, which means you cast the animation of Q and you flash in the middle of the animation and it pops out immediately. It's almost undodgeable unless you see it predicted. It can land you a kill, guaranteed, and then you can Kalista rolling. And then you can start roaming on the Alistar. So, gotta watch for that for Vander. He is running Ignite. Both these supports, as far as I know, have been running Ignite every game. Even though we've gone very late in the games and actually not much action has happened early, so that would promote the usage of Exhaust.
It's actually interesting because both of these teams have been more focused on towers and moving around in the first sort of 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we've had really crazy team fights in our mid to late game. And those team fights will be interesting, or that laning phase might change a little. Power of Evil this time Flash Ignite.
Now this matchup is different if camps are involved compared to when you play from level 1. If you play from level 1, the edge should go to Sivir and Annie because they have double range and push advantage. But Roccat don't seem to care.
Gonna use that Relic Shield.
I think Unicorns are too scared here. You can trade, like, Alistar can't pop the Kalista passive early. He's a melee range support, he has to push. Vardix has AoE, they might even challenge the next wave because this is going into tower. We want to follow this race to level 2 and see who comes out on top. But Rallis is already chunking at these minions when the next ones are coming. Now it's too late to enter the race. Both top laners did the same thing. Level 2 from a camp, they go to the top lane. We're playing extremely standard, which nowadays is not so standard anymore.
Exactly. We'll see who comes out ahead in our standard lane setup. Horo with an early invade. Damn it. Yankos with an early invade.
Both with an early invade.
And Horo up top. It was Yankos on screen. I'm going to have to try and get my tongue not tied. And we're going to reiterate the story.
No.
Elise, early push. I want to see what Horo builds if he's going to go tank.
But Elise is a jungler. Why she's so highly rated and has one of the highest win rates in solo queue right now. Coincidentally, you actually never see her because such a high ban rate is because she stays so sustained in the jungle. She barely uses her potions at all. And that means she can gank from full HP right now. They're pushing in towards the left bot lane, but obviously Vardix has Spell Shield available. It's too early for dives. It's a very mirrored approach right here. Horo is in top lane right now though. He has Cocoon available. Steve wants to ward. He finds Horo.
Wow.
You saw him, Steve.
Stepped right in there. It's a little bit of a misplay.
Yeah. I mean, why do you need a ward to see the jungler? You just saw him. Good poke. And this is what I was talking about. The Elise Gnar combination, to me, feels more efficient at shutting down one part of the map than the Nidalee Kalista Alistar combination feels. So 3 against 2, it's harder to shut people down than it is 2 against 1. And look at the wave position in the top lane too. It is frozen towards Steve. Teleport is down on... it's frozen towards Vizichachi. Teleport is down on Steve, so he needs help. But his jungler is currently camping the bottom side of the map. Horo moved to the mid lane.
Flash is used. Nukdog held it late.
I wanted to see a Mad Life so badly. Just predict the flash, but I feel like Nukdog's too good of a player that he'll simply just not flash it then.
Even if it had connected.
Cleanse was available.
Cleanse there as well, but that's big. Power of Evil now with flash versus no flash
but
in the mid lane.
Look at the synergy the Unicorns have developed. Like, Steve got ganked when his lane was pushing back. And at the same time, there was a massive wave pushing into the tower. Pressure for Power of Evil. Right before that hits, Nukdog gets ganked, his summoner gets burned. So that wave will now bounce backwards again once the hit comes out of the tower. And suddenly Nukdog finding himself in a very rough position. Yankas has made his way to the top side of the map. Props to Unicorns above bot lane, only being 6 CS down. Remember, they got camped by jungler early, so very even matchup.
Yankos wants to look for a Javelin toss. Actually, Yankos is going to find Horo. Yankos is low on mana. Connects with Javelin, goes into Cougar form. Horo does have that skittering frenzy. Cocoon actually connects. Throws out a Venomous Bite. Command Protect and the support from Power of Evil. Yankos gets away. No summoner needed.
And more than he bargained for. Remember, Power of Evil still has Ignite to cleanse. Good shield from Vardax. Some good punish on Vander here, but he has to sustain.
Well, Triumphant Roar is going to help out. So checking out the Incinerate and the Disintegrate. But look at the CS difference, but that's Kalistar lane has already built up. All of that stemming also from the level 1 aggression. UOL playing very reserved.
Yeah, aggression backed up by jungle presence. Obviously, it's so easy to go aggressive on a bot lane when you know you can't get ganked. But they're doing it well. And level 6 is when this lane completely turns around. Kalista has to play careful, but Alistar at the other side can play careless. You can Unbreakable out of Tibbers, and you have Fate's Call to pull you back. So the level of respect kind of shifts all the way. Kalista has to be so careful, because Flash Tibbers, you know, Spell Shield to deny combo can mean you certain death. And Alistar can literally just walk up and do whatever he wants. Q support, you know, knock him back, immediately blow him up. So very interesting laning phase at every level of the game.
And we'll see how it translates, because Mr. Rolls is winning out in the AD carry position, marginally. Backed early, which is why the CS is closing. But Chachi's winning top lane thanks to the gank. So we'll need to see if Chachi's Gnar can get strong enough to keep Mr. Rolls' Kalista down.
Jankos just got revealed on a Skullcrab. He didn't want to move in and hop over the blue wall to stay unspotted. Horror does have an advantage in that term, so he knows Jankos is top left doing race. A little aggression in the mid lane. On Oriana's shield, not really gonna do too much. Now Horror showed on a ward on the bottom lane as it faded, so they saw him. So he pings on the minimap too. So by definition, they now know that that Jankos did the raves, which means following he will probably do the wolves. So one ward or one time spotting the enemy jungler can be enough for these teams of this caliber to predict the next 1.5 minutes of the game.
Well, Chachi is going to get jumped on by Steve. Steve actually comes out ahead thanks to that Maokai passive. It's a little bit of heal in the mid lane. Looks like there's going to be a party. Wow, that's an early shockwave. Nukeduck didn't expect it. He's cleansed out. Horror's jumped in, and he's got first blood. Now he's going to turn to Jankos. Connects with the cocoon. 1.6 seconds.
Stun from Hillsang.
The roaming anti-Moby boots. UOL are back.
Deja vu from Hillsang. He coordinates with Horror. He says, where are you going? Mid lane. Okay, I'll be there soon. Flashes in for the Q. Travels along with Nukeduck, who just uses cleanse after 2 ticks of Ignite. And again, Vardex is solo farming in the bot lane. He is very self-sufficient. Now, he moves in. I like this ward, by the way. That's about to place. Gets vision of blue buff and Grump, and it's all the safety you need on the map, and you can even roam bot. Dive's not going to work. Just stun and poke.
Well, they're going to try it. They got a flash from Mr. Rolls.
Yeah.
Vardags is in trouble. He's taking tower hits. Didn't get the spell shield, though.
That wasn't perfect.
That
was
was
it earlier.
Well,
good flash by Rolls then, I guess.
Aggressive play. Also, Vardag's got a pickaxe and a second Doran's blade up against Mr. Rolls' Cutlass.
Yeah, good reaction play 1v2. I think Rolls could also just chill, take the boomerang hit on the backwards, rely on the heal to bait a little more. Obviously, it's very hard to predict that. You don't want to be that guy that gets dove and dies with flash up. Vardex has to flash out, or heal out. He still has his flash available, of course. Yeah, I like the synergy between Horo and multiple members on the sides of Unicorns. Horo and Hillsang, fantastic roams. Horo and PoE set that gank up beautifully. That's not something that just happens, you know, that's practiced very well. Really nice to see that.
Well, we're 9 minutes in. Horo's got a kill and assist. He's pressured multiple lanes. You said you wanted to see how he performs at least. Thus far, pretty good.
Yeah. One could argue better than Jankos. However, Elise ganks are a team effort. So his team has maybe communicated a little better here. This is what you can do. Hillsang is available, no flash. So he's just watching, sightseeing, if I may.
And Roccat get away. They stole the previous red as well, albeit it was a trade because Horror stole top. But smart that the moment it respawns,
now Hillsang
Roccat and they get the objective.
Has no flash. Watch for that. Once Alistar hits level 6 Q flash, he's dead. He's just straight up dead because can't get out. Chachi, bit of a trade here, puts himself in tower range.
Not the greatest.
Worked for him. Goes minion and pokes. Gets the wave in, that's all he needs. Steve is fine farming that on the tower. If they don't know where Horror is, this can be a lot of pressure right here. Horror's down on the bottom lane, he just passed the ward, so Rocket's aware of that. But Hillsang with flash down can get punished. Remember, every time you make a play and you use a summoner offensively, you leave yourself exposed for somebody else to trade that same summoner to you and get a kill. That's why Horror's lurking here. Looking for an opening. They know he's there though, because he passed that ward in Tribrush.
Tib is up for Hilly. Roccat are paying the respect they need. Sentinel's actually not going to get spotted. Don't go close enough. The rolls. Tibbers, he's got stunned. Here comes Horo. Cocoon needs to connect.
Boomerang.
And it doesn't. It doesn't even get needed. Teleports are being channeled. It's cancelled from Steve. It is not cancelled from Chachi. They want the tower as well.
Yeah, disrespect from Rawless. If you play Kalista enough, you know you can never trust your Sentinels. They have very low visibility. High, you know, it's like when you watch a commercial on television and they deliver you the perfect product. No, it doesn't work that way. People constantly cite it. It doesn't see anything. Don't trust them. Don't even use them. Refuse it, because Remember this one game in LPL 2 where there were 3 Sentinels and the jungle just simply really sidestepped all 3 of them, invaded, and yeah, false sense of security. It's the worst. Raw is overextend. Send your cow into face check. You have face cow.
Unicorns secure the 3rd kill.
Good opening though, yet again, Hillsang. 2 kills that he's already contributed to at the 11-minute mark with those Mobies first on Annie. Reminiscent of the Unicorns of Love in Spring, where Hillsang just on Annie just had all these engages constantly.
By the way, I just caught a glimpse of the player cam looking down the entire team. And Horo is talking up a storm. Hands flying wide, he was dishing out orders. And you can see the level of coordination that the players have. Significantly improved.
And this is so ironic that Kiki's left the team because like it wasn't going anywhere and it wasn't just working out, and they had this democratic shot caller system in the Unicorns of Love, no central voice. And perhaps Horo could be the one becoming that, you know, GPS, that central voice for that team, guiding them. So far they do seem to be in sync. It doesn't randomly happen that Hillsang shows up in top lane for that kill. Hillsang shows up in mid lane for that kill. That power reveal, you know, sets up the ultimate that Horo just randomly happens to be walking in there. That's very good lane control, very good execution on all these ganks. Unicorns are now 3 kills up to 0. 1.6k in the lead.
And for Unicorns, where do they set their sights? They opened up a tower down bottom, and you can see the grouping in middle as well. But there's a risk of a dive here onto Vardags. Actually,
he has to flash.
It's not a risk anymore. Spell Shield's available, as is Flash, as is Heal. Jankos pounces in, Spell Shield's been used. Javelin, that gets flashed. What's the cost? Look at UOL. They're grouping middle, Horo's coming top. Steve is going to flash the Cocoon.
The problem is this was kind of predictable because the entire bot side, if you move so many people to your top side of the map, you have to respect Roccat enough as a team that they will do the same thing to you. Look at the wards that Roccat has accumulated in the red jungle. 4 Unicorns of Love. This dive was very telegraphed. Now they're rotating from the right side into mid lane. Looking for a pick. Unicorns move away from mid lane to top lane, so a lot of rotations going on right now.
Crepo, Unicorns lose Summon a Spell, Flash on Vardags, and their bottom tower, but they gain top tower only.
And Summoner Spell on Steve, so just even trade, but it is slightly predictable on both sides of the coin. It just depends how much you respect the enemy team and how much you value that additional experience you can try and leech and just try and survive.
Unicorns of Love, they maintain control and they seem to be moving around the map. Hilly has those Moby boots, no distortion yet, but Flash and Tibbers is up.
Look at the wards we have that I mentioned earlier in the red side jungle of the Unicorns. It's the same thing for Roccat. Complete mirror. And now Hillsang is roaming there, and now they want to catch people face-checking because they have bet on the dive on the mid lane tower. This is Power Reveal winning his mid lane matchup due to those ganks.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Cocoon is going to be flashed away from. Tower should be focused down.
They have Repel too.
Reset it. Well, actually, tower stands.
Yeah. Because there's no minions around.
Yeah,
Remember,
armor.
minions will lower the armor of a tower, so don't be mistaken. That's why sometimes you see an AD carry in a lane sub just straight up die. Tower's on like 40%, 40 HP, and he thinks, okay, one hit, minions are gone, our armor goes through the roof, and you get a free trip to the base with no tower.
This time
Tower's going down now though. No AoE gold in the mid lane. Should go down to these minions right there on your screen. So nobody to pick up that local gold. Power Reveal's rushing over.
Gets it.
Nope. No local gold.
125.
Is it?
No, it's not. You're right.
He misses the 50 gold.
Correct.
So, inefficient gold game.
Out of range. It's the game difference. That's it. But Flash Tibbers is available for Hillsang. Wait. Here comes Hilly. Let's see. He flashed. Oh, flash for Flash. Gets a stun. Cocoon connects as well. Horo's going to look for the repel.
Go out even.
Not going to work this time. In the mid lane though, Power of Evil. Going to try to set up. Whoa, that was opportunistic.
Yeah, he would try to bait in Nuketug in his E animation, but Nuketug simply just walks back. He doesn't need to see the creeps die. See, he walks back. Yeah, very even game. Wavefully in the mid lane, so no action here. Don't stay around too long. Just start moving into the side lanes, especially Chachi on his Gnar. He's not building the traditional Black Cleaver, I will split push you to death. Now he's building for team fights because of the lineup from Unicorns. When Gnar Boomerang connects, that's slow. That opens up for a Cocoon or Orianna Ball follow-up. Any of these slows is enough to prompt a team fight. This is just what Mega Gnar going in. Vander knock. Denies a jump, I believe. Flash is used then to return.
That's good damage from the Hyper, but he doesn't want to take on a Blade of the Ruined King, Mr. Rawls.
Because Fate's Call was still available. He will never kill Vander there. Unbreakable too, so good move there by Vander. Flash is burned, but can we capitalize on these flashes?
Unicorns of Love certainly want to. Distortion Boots were now picked up by Hylissang, and they maintain control. They did get that tower eventually, as we said.
Now, one thing I like about Power of Evil's build is that he didn't go for a tier, as he's done before on Orianna, but he goes for the Athenes, and it's easily prompted because he's playing against a magic damage mid laner. Yeah, okay, we have magic damage mid laners in the middle, but a magic damage jungler too on the Nidalee, so Athenes goes up in value so much. The magic resistance you get from that item, from initially the Chalice and then upgraded into Athenes, just so valuable, and I like it. It's earlier spike, more CDR, leaves you vulnerable, you know, to 80 damage, but the only really 80 damage is Mr. Rawless, and if Rawless gets in range of an Orianna, he'll just die.
I think it's a good point you bring up because of the fact that Power of Evil's gone tier so often. Oh, Hylissang, you're in so much trouble. Gets a two-man stun, but it doesn't matter.
Good read. Greedy warding from Unicorns of Love, and good grouping up here from Roccat. Jankos and Vander working together for that pick. Unicorns will have to push out mid and migrate to the top lane, get some deep vision control in the enemy red jungle, and perhaps hit on that top lane tower because Steve just teleported down and his tier 2 tower is open. That's what we're seeing right here. Unicorns clearing that pink ward, moving 4 people up. However, this does leave your mid lane exposed. If Roccat say just yield top tower completely, let's go mid. Power Evil now realizes that. That's why he's walking back on the map. He's like, guys, we have this tower secured. Good. Don't need me. Look, taking the super safe path too. Just looking around.
So tower for Dragon.
And in turn, Jankos. Sometimes you can just watch League of Legends by just watching the minimap. You don't need to see what's on the screen. Jankos just went in and placed a couple of deep wards. So these are all things that are tied together just with that initial pickoff. It's really fun to watch and predict that on the map. Now Vander face checks into the dark.
Well, Unbreakable will, and then follows up with the Fate's Call.
He's safe.
Important to note that when UOL moved to the top half of the jungle, they only got a single ward.
Yeah, they were out of
deep
wards.
So
Because their warder died and there was no sight zone on the least because this time Horo is snowballing, so he's going for pure damage. Yes, he built Cinder Hulk, but he's going for Swords for Shoes after, and now he has the makings of a Haunting, guys. And that's traditionally what we've seen in the past when Elise was played, back when Cocoon was very easy to land on a remotely low cooldown and had a long duration. You keep Cocoon level 1, you rely on your base damage, just go double penetration build, and try and beat your opponents that way.
a lot of percentage damage from that Q on Elise. It may be needed. Steve farming up relatively well. He is behind Chachi, but he's got that Righteous Glory completed. He's got the Warden's Mail, so a little bit of HP, a little bit of armor. He'll be looking to throw that down to engage.
Looking at a potential explosive mid game with both supports picking up Distortion Boots very early in this game. This puts you, obviously, your cooldown on Flash goes down massively in addition to the Master you already have. Very often gives you 2 flashes for 1 on your opponents. So you burn it once, they flash 2, then you burn it again, they no longer have flash, and you catch them, or you simply find an opening. Especially Vander, because he can use that, because Rawls can always pull him back with Fate's Call. And now the last tier 1 tower, oh no, second to last for Roccat remaining.
Yeah. Mid one still standing there for PoE.
Probably a while before that one goes down into Orianna. Just gonna have a look-see on my screen. It is 85% HP in the mid lane, so that one's going down slowly. PoE is out of mana though. Jankos can steal this, yeah. That's good tempo, that's really good tempo, because now PoE has to base instead of have regeneration from the blue buff. He can hold this for 1 or 2 waves, but then mid lane is exposed. And Roccat might be
that's brave.
position.
It gets a cocoon though. Horo's looking, sinks the fangs in, repels up and goes to a minion. So confident play here from Horo, but look at the grouping. Roccat are on the tower.
He bought himself some time, that's all he needed. He always knew he could repel to the minions at the tower, as long as he didn't die. And Power Evil had to base. He picked up Rabadon's Death Cap. No
Departure.
defense.
Yeah.
Those shields are probably gonna be shielding for quite a lot already. Rank 1 only. So yeah, 100 or over 200, 210 health already on those shields.
It's going to be super effective. Horo's not actually finished a Haunting, guys. Went for Giant's Belt from that Ruby Crystal.
So he fell behind. He didn't get an additional gank off, and he said, okay, my magic pen won't be enough right now. Probably need to be more of a tank presence, so he's going to sit on that for a while. Leave that Amp Tome there for whatever he builds later, and perhaps go into the mix of a random wins. Says suddenly I need MR2, so he's building little pieces and snippets of different items, but he can.
Could Steve get run down? Hillesang's going to look for the stun. Vardex has used on the hunt.
Backup is coming though. Steve just needs to survive.
Let's see. Steve is going to jump onto Vardex. Boomerang Blade connects. Power of Evil was off on the side lanes. Vardex is going to get away. Well, Steve will get away, I should say.
5-man commit to the bottom side of the map. That leaves mid lane open. Buff picked up for Nukeduck eventually. And Power of Evil makes it back in time for mid lane.
Arms race continues. Both teams just looking for farm, just looking for their items. A Frozen Heart now for Steve. Gonna help reduce the auto attacks and the damage from both Sivir and Gnar. Mini Gnar chucks a whole lot out.
You can feel that this is game 4 in the best 5 series with the tempered approach. Game 1 was explosive, game 2 less, but still. On game 4 is very slow. We'll probably see some action around the next dragon. 1-1 apiece. Well, traditionally you don't really see too much action because you can trade a dragon for tier 1. Chachi poking out Vander because he's fighting for vision control because they want that dragon. This is the prelude to what will happen around 70 seconds from now. In this beginning of the game, you can trade a tier 1 tower for a dragon. Right now you're out of tier 1 towers to trade, so you have to commit or you give up a dragon for free. If you do that too much, you start losing the game.
So Chachi's going to go Mega Gnar for the siege. This should force Roccat to play a little more defensively.
They can send in Vander at any time. Oh, his fates call him out.
I get proven wrong as Vander just goes straight in for that knockup, as you mentioned, Crepo. Once Mega Gnar fades...
Alistar has 2 get out of fail free cards. You know, 1 Unbreakable, 1 Fate's Call.
On the condition you don't stack them, which is something we have seen in the summer split before.
But we've seen this before, haven't we? Sieging a tier 2 on the bottom lane against Victor.
With Steve teleporting in behind, looking for a gank. No, I can't say that is... Wait, is that a teleport that's going to be coming in on the try-push?
The ward, perhaps.
There's Steve! Unicorns of Love now find themselves in a team fight. Vizichachi's trying. That's a great shockwave! 3 members of Roccat get chunked down. That may have saved Unicorns' lives. Fight may continue.
Steve's good at flanking, but if you walk into a choke point against Power Evil Orianna, he's still full. Yeah, you're not going to pass that. He's doing his best Gandalf impersonation, and that dragon... Not quite a Balrog, will still go down, it seems. That ball's in the choke point right now, and they're very scared to enter.
Flash and Gnar is available for Mega Gnar. We'll see if he can find stuns. Unicorns have not started the dragon yet. Pull it out and take a couple of hits. Boulder Toss comes out, as does the Wallop. Mini Gnar, that's it. Gets chunked by a dead laser. That's a flash at the Chaos Storm. Hillesang's going to be in trouble, but the fight is on 2 fronts. Hilly's down, as is Vardags. We see the Fate's Call. That's going to be lobbed onto Horror. 3 members of UOL down. And the dragon gets secured by Roccat as well. They even out the gold.
What a fantastic play by Steve, trying to soak the cooldowns. He says, guys, okay, I got this. I'm still healthy. If I just walk in, eventually they'll use their cooldowns on me. Then Nukeduck, he reads that beautifully. He flashes in aggressively on Victor, says, okay, I might go down here, but damn hell, I'll take 3 people with me. And this aggressive play, proactive play from Roccat is what we haven't seen so far in this series up until last game. And Jankos, very low. Ernest AoE, this might be a... Remember, Rawls is execute.
Yes.
You only need to bring this to 2K. Hide in the back of the pit.
2K's there. Rend, who's going to get it? Mr. Roth, the shockwave comes out. It gets some damage. They lose Steve, but Rawls was able to kill the Baron. Chachi and Power of Evil trying to hold Roccat in the pit. Rawls is going to hop over the wall, but they lose 2 in the process.
Yeah. Rawls waited for his Q to come back up and didn't fail that ever so important wall up. And now we went from chasing into a choke point against Orianna, seemingly losing the dragon, to good controlled aggression there. They didn't panic at all. They sent Steven first to soak up the cooldowns. And then that flash from Nukeduck. Yeah, fantastic play. He's definitely showing up in this series more towards the end.
Well, another siege coming up against Baron minions. Mega Gnar, the hop, the crunch. Wow, he goes way wide. Gets the Gnar against the wall. All of Unicorns follow. They've got Mr. Rawls. There's no more damage to follow it up. Roccat are forced to retreat, and UOL are going to get the tower.
Yeah, what happened there was Vander was trying to W knock back the Gnar as he was hopping in, but he ended next to Vander, so Vander knocked him sideways. And then Rawls was like, how the hell did that Gnar get here? Let's watch that again. Steve is soaking up this... Look, The ball moves to the right side. Steve steps in. Chachi uses his cooldowns preemptively. Again, cooldown soaked on Steve. Laser, this is the key laser, this one right here. Gets him low enough, and then Nuketox just walks in because he sees AoE potential. On the left side, Vander goes in because Fate Skull is still available. Horo, what goes up, wants to come down. He dies. Dragon almost gets stolen by a mini Gnar boomerang here, but just zero hesitate. Once they go in, they all go together, and I really like that from Roccat. We've seen that before. A game where Nuketox played Aurelia against Ezreal mid, and in the team comms that came out as well, he was like, I can E-flash, I can E-flash. Wait for it, and we go. And this was the same thing. Just wait for it, wait for them. Laser connects, he's like, go, go, go. And yeah, beautiful execution. The game's even yet again.
Scary thing about the game being even, though, is that Unicorns have 3 extra towers. So if Roccat can start to push a little more, they're going to accelerate that gold lead, despite losing, what, 3 members with Baron buff?
And they just have such a good team fight composition with Maokai, Alistar, Victor. Just try and catch somebody and try and survive.
Chachi's going to try to run down Vander a little bit. Gotta be a little careful. It's forward. It's hyper proc, but here's Baron empowered minions and Roccat off starting the siege.
And the later you go in a game, the less important damage component of Tibbers becomes. The more important, it just matters how many people you get and how much follow-up is in range. You know, earlier in the game, Annie can like one-shot an 80 carry. Later on, maybe do some damage, but you really want the follow-up to come out from Power Evil or Chachi with the Mega Gnar. Which is the ulti. Today I learned.
Yeah.
It's like, it's called Gnar. How confusing can you make it, right?
Exactly.
Please.
Gnar lands the Gnar! But Power of Evil, quite a big departure from his regular build. Deathcap, second item, another needlessly large rod.
Sonya's, I imagine.
We'll find out once he gets a little more farm. Slightly behind Nuketox, even in the top lane. Rylai's actually picked up here for Horo. So a little bit of mixture of AP and HP.
That was what the Amp Tome was for, with the Giant's Belt.
We'll see how effective it makes Horo.
Likely it was going down from the start, so he didn't actually opt for the hunting guys. He wanted to shift that build over. Obviously, different build up for Rylai's. Easier now that you can go Ruby Crystal into the Giant's Belt.
For Jankos, also a slight departure. He's picked up that Abyssal Scepter. All right, we're seeing Steve with Home Guards. Where is he going? Just out of base. Look at the observers trolling us. Building up anticipation and tension.
They're just merely highlighting the fact that he bought Home Guards. Thank you, observers. I do appreciate you. Unlike other unmentioned casters on this very desk. But yeah, really stale game. Again, we'll probably see a face-off around the Dragon. This time, however, Roccat have Vision there planted down initially. They can base, fill up their wards again. And now, Unicorns will be the ones face-checking potentially to this Roccat lineup. With caution though, power in numbers.
Vander. Roccat, they're split up though.
Vander has doesn't need to get the Righteous Glory. Goes for the Aegis this game because obviously Nidalee hates building that. Just not a very efficient item for her.
Wow!
Yeah, lasers go pew pew. Sivir ulti gets popped though. Cleanse out of Tibbers. This is big, this is big. This is why you run Cleanse on Victor. Power Evil went for the Ignite. Orianna, let's see if we can make that more valuable than the Cleanse right there. I don't think you can. That should be Dragon because this is the main initiation tools have been used. Sivir ulti on the hunt is down. Flash Tibbers is down.
For Nuketox, he has no flash. No room for error now. Although Nuketox not necessarily being in range, or he's actually not had many missed positions throughout the course of this series.
See how Power Evil could have pulled the trigger on ultimate there, and he just didn't want to. He doesn't want to trade his ultimate for a flash on Jankos, because that would really mean that the Dragon is lost. Roccat also pushing the wave. They don't just start grouping around the Dragon just yet. They wait for it to spawn. Meanwhile, they keep putting mid lane pressure as long as they can. Unicorns, they want to inch in forward. Get some vision advantage, but these 2 pink wards that Roccat have there make it quite hard. Steve is ready with the flying teleport. Wards behind the Unicorns. Again. No on the hunt. This could be a repeat scenario of Game 2 in the European LCS.
It's being channeled. Steve is running in. He's going to get slowed by a boomerang, but he's still going to find Chachi. Now Steve is forced to flash defensively. Gets caught by a boulder toss. Gets caught by a crunch. Gravity Field should cover his exit. on the hunt, is about 15% away from being available. Nah is going to hold Steve against the wall. Steve jumps onto Horror, flash forward from Vanda. He's found Hillesang.
What's the Oriana ball?
Retreat. The Oriana ball gets Jankos and Steve, but Mr. Rolls was able to avoid it. Nobody has gone down yet, and a lot of cooldowns have been used.
I just love watching these zone control type of fights where everybody's hesitant to step too far forward because one Chaos Storm or one Shockwave can decide the fight. He's not quite up to that lethal point just yet on that Oriana power evil where one RW can decide whether Squishies live or die, but it was close. Roccat do pick up their third dragon of the series at a convenient time for them. 12 minutes remain.
How unfortunate.
Raptor Wars.
Chashi goes Mega Gnar and unable to get the last hit. Power of Evil did not go Hourglass. More zone control tools, Crepo.
Rylai's.
Props for that Rylai's.
Yeah, definitely worth going for if you're not getting engaged upon. We haven't really seen PoE get caught. Also shown in score, 0 deaths, so 40% slow on single target and AoE spells now too. As long as there's no damage over time. So really, really good control to the control mage. That is Oriana, so yeah, keep watching PoE's ball placement in these fights and keep watching Victor's lasers from Nuke Dog. That is definitely worth to watch in these fights. And then watch how these people play around them. If you're wondering why does this guy not press R, why doesn't he go in, why doesn't he flash, it's because they're respecting the counter engage damage and the sheer amount of zone control from both these mages.
And oftentimes the threat of having a Shockwave down will
is bigger.
force Rocket's hand as well.
It's like when you play Blitzcrank, the threat of your hook is very often bigger than the hook itself because you'll miss it.
Sadly, I often do. Now, Roccat maintain an even gold presence. They are slightly behind in towers, but they are ahead in dragons. And it's been the story of this game that we get pushed to the late game, and then position around objectives will determine the victor. But for Roccat, they seem to have woken up this series after a strong win.
Good adaptation, just the passive approach with a lot of MR didn't really work traditionally against the old unicorns perhaps, yeah? Stack MR, go late game, can work against unicorns, but the new unicorns doesn't really work. New revamp 2.0.
That's a fantastic point because you mentioned at the beginning of Game 3 that it's time to drop your prep and react to what you're seeing. And so far, Roccat seem to be doing well. UOL have reacted, they got a good start to this game. Roccat bounced back, and now it feels like Roccat are a little more in control. It feels like Roccat are just driving the game slightly more than UOL. But it is like,
however,
such a knife edge.
One thing that we, rather as the broadcast team, when we were preparing these matches and we went over some of the old matches, one comment was that the games got played on 2 lanes instead of 3. And that is something that we have seen in this series. How often have we seen anybody really exert split put pressure to the point where towers were falling, people were moving around, where that was the metronome of the game dictating the pace? Not really. We've seen endless amount of grouping and then eventually, like here, oh, this wave is stacked, I shall quickly clear it. But when you watch the likes of Fnatic just play the game, they go for more split push. They say, yes, we can stay safe 4 against 5. We read the game perfectly. We can then use that 6th man pressure from the minion wave, and it's not really working. That's what results in just these Baron fights over and over in full vision.
It's happening again. It's happening again. Mega Gnar is going to pop shortly, so Chachi will have that tool.
Victor's back, so likely we'll see Unicorns of Love back out, Roccat rotate in the mid lane. Unless an explosive fight starts out.
Here's the ball. And there's the rotate to mid.
Yeah, our Dance of Dragons is slowly devolving in a potential game of throws here. As we keep grouping around this Baron for no apparent reason. This is, I've said this before, these half-assed Barons are just more symptoms of poor shot calling. It's like, what do we do? Minion waves on silence, yeah, they're not pushing, nobody prepped them. Deep vision, yeah, I can't get there. There's a Baron here, let's hit it. Oh, damn it, they saw it with their wards. It's clear in the pit. I guess let's back out then.
It's the truth, unfortunately.
It is, however, very easy for me to say that from here.
Yes.
I mean, you've seen it. I've tried it in the game. I've called many of those Barons.
And for Roccat, it's even more difficult to make a call because their playoff chances are on the line.
Yeah.
A loss in this game means Roccat go straight to the regional qualifier, which happens after Stockholm. in the studio, and it'll be a rematch with Giants, which was the last match they played in the regular split. It was a tiebreaker that put Roccat against UOL. So
with Yasuo on Nuketox, so should they win, they could have their trump card. I reveal to you Yasuo.
There was a hover for Yasuo this game as well.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
But Nuketox playing it safer when there's so much on the line. Actually, we get rematches for multiple places, because if UOL win, of course, they advance to the semi-finals. They maintain that 20 championship point lead over H2K. And they're going to be looking at this man, Chachi, to help them get there.
Yeah, Banner of Command, obviously not quite useful into an 80-based laner like Chachi on the Gnar here. Gonna take care of that. At least we're seeing some side lane pressure. Teams have learned, okay, Baron's not working on either regard. But we're stalling, and the next dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. Let's see how they approach this dragon fight.
For Unicorns, very important for them to secure this. It would put Roccat one dragon away from Aspect. I don't think we've got an Aspect yet this series.
Nope, don't believe so.
Despite getting very, very close. But for UOL,
now at this point though,
seem to be more concerned about Baron.
Baron melts quickly. If you put Gnar, Elise, Orianna, Sivir on it, it goes down very quickly. If you put Kalista with Victor and Nidalee on it, it'll go down too. So whoever tunnels a bit too much, this is like your reverse. You're not. It seems like they're waiting for that ward to come out and fight them. It's like, it stays still. Never mind. Wards don't attack people. Okay, Dragon's exposed. Kalista can go solo it. We have Alistar with face check potential with Unbreakable. Now they started. They cleared the ward immediately.
Watch the... Wow, look at that HP
Kalista's
bar.
not there. Kalista's not there though. They can burn it.
This is being dropped down. Hylissang
Watch Jankos. He's going to spear and he wants to execute.
I think the spear connected. 1,400. He goes in. It's secured by the Unicorns of Love. And Jankos explodes. Fate's Call will save Vander for a while. A defensive flash from Steve keeps him alive. There's a Chachi now looking for the hyper. Mr. Rawls, you were on the wrong side of the lane. 2 down and Baron.
Note how Hylissang went for Flash Q instead of Flash Baron. Flash Cocoon goes on Steve.
Oh, Shockwave pulls him backwards as well. Gravity Field will keep Steve alive for a few seconds longer.
Horo drops in the laser.
To kill Horo. I didn't even see that happening. Inhibitor turret is going to be the focus. Baron empowered minions. UOL have cracked open the base.
And just like that, pseudo 50-50 Baron opens up the game for at least one team. Unicorns have the better play there. They knew somebody would be soloing the dragon, so they were banking on either finishing the Baron with a burst damage or initiating an on the hunt Sivir fight. So in that regard, it was good.
It gets worse, Crepo. Dragon wasn't even secured.
No, he had to peel off. Mr. Wallace saw that it was going down. I think Roccat could have actually traded just Baron for Dragon and then went for the 5th one. And is moving in right now. He's going for some damage.
So, follow-up team fight. Look at the damage here from Nuketox. Chachi's going to hop away. Gravity Field zoning. Chachi does not have flash. He's down.
Vardags
defensive flash from Vardags. They at least get a reprieve kill. But Dragon number 2 to UOL.
So this is where you make the sum of all trades. Flashes are still up on Jankos and Wallace. Down on Vander, down on Steve. More importantly, down on Nuketox. But a lot of flashes burn on UOL as well. If they can't use this one inhibitor advantage very well, then Roccat might actually be okay after losing that Baron. Evening out the gold with this siege. Overall, I don't think it'll mean too much. One inhib is down, but if it's any inhibitor you want to lose, it is the mid lane one. It's the easiest defendable. If anything, wave control goes easily in your favor. You can't lose any more neutral objectives. They're both off the map, so likely we'll go back to a very slow game. Horo finds out his blue buff is not there anymore. Repels down once.
We're likely to see a siege in the bottom lane. And we're likely to see Steve teleport behind UOL for a fight.
Yeah, well, if history repeats itself. But that siege is still very far off because Steve is currently pushing out the bot lane. So that's at least going to take him roughly a minute or a minute and a half. And by that time, the Baron buff will be out.
Yeah.
And then we have Victor wave clearing again. So Vardags using his buff against Banner of Command. Pushing in mid. So the move you would make here if you are the Unicorns is push out mid, rotate to the top side, deep ward the enemy red jungle, and just keep that control for as long as you can. Force Roccat to waste wards entering their jungle. Not what you want to do. Ball check every bush on the way, and eventually maybe find Vander right here. Nope, ward.
Interesting to see Power of Evil go for a 4th item Ludens as opposed to a Void Staff. And Chachi's working his way towards that black cleaver, increasing his split push threat. Look, Chachi's pushing bottom, has teleport available. The rest of UOL, they're sieging up top without Baron.
Yeah, not much MR on Steve. And then very squishy members in the backline that he just wants to hit with that loot and smoke. That's all he wants to do. Power Ulysses. I don't need Void Staff. If I can connect a couple of spells to you guys, you're dead anyways. So I don't need the penetration from that item. Steve battling off. Doesn't have the traditional split push build though. So normally you see like a Frozen Mallet here or Black Cleaver, something that can whittle through. Reduce that armor on Steve. Obviously he has Frozen Heart Tormail, so that's gonna be so approach to that bottom lane tower. But pressure is on the Unicorn side.
Death Ray comes out early there from Nukeduck.
There's one ward for a flank. Steve will have to base for home guards, else that'll be in full vision. Hillsang will likely clear that ward right now.
Didn't do it just yet.
I'll be out of vision then.
Chachi and Steve are still trading. And that Black Cleaver is really helping Steve out for the time being, despite multiple hyper procs. Not really a wet noodle fight, but taking as long as one would usually. The rest of you are well. They're still trying this siege. They're still challenging the wave.
Watch that laser. It's not going to happen. We'll need to see some variation on this play. A bait, a flash tibbers, perhaps a fight in the bot lane. Leganar comes out. That's 600 free health, give or take. 800 perhaps at this point. But it's fine. If Unicorns keep this up and they keep their wards alive, keep their side zone a little forward, their trinkets on cooldown, they can make this a Baron bait. It'll be 4 minutes from now perhaps, but or 3 minutes as their buff recently ran out, but they could technically do that.
For UOL, they may have to, because they're still even on gold. But the damage that Nukeduck is putting out is terrifying. Mr. Rawls has got a lot of items completed and a QSS, so he can get out of a hilly stun.
Yeah, that's very important. That will change the way Rawls plays his teamfight by a significant margin. Because now he can dash in aggressively, QSS out, and keep fighting. And Hillsang obviously needs a couple of seconds to get the next stun rotation off. If he can then flash the Cocoon, or just avoid that somehow, he is free to reign these fights and save flash for Orianna ulti, and then he can do a lot of damage, especially with the Renowned Hurricane, proccing on multiple members in these fights.
Anybody that wants to see a game 5, Roccat cannot afford more mistakes. Dragon and Baron spawn within 5 seconds of each other in the next minute and a half. Now, I've been watching Vander's cooldown for Banner of Command. He's not used it yet. Despite there being a siege minion up front, he's holding on to the cooldown, waiting for the appropriate time.
Yeah, because there's no appropriate minion to use it. If you use it mid, it'll get cleared. If you use it on the side lane, it'll get cleared. You want to use that cooldown 30 seconds before an objective goes live, because very likely nobody will be close to clear that minion, and then you can still get the split push in time for that to matter for that objective, or at least one of them. So just don't waste it just yet.
A smart play then from Vander. Unicorns take
or
it.
He just forgets he has the item. Happens, but I doubt it.
Let's go with option 1, shall we?
I think Vander's smarter than that.
Smarter than your average... don't know where I was going with that.
Average player?
No, I don't know.
That's why they're in the LCS, Trevor. They're ever so slightly better than your average player. Fantastic analysis. No, but yeah, Vander is a very vision-focused support in that regard, so he's obviously watching these waves a lot. I like this ward in the mid game. Forces a sweeper at the worst. If at best, it gives you mid lane vision, which is really what you want. Every rotation is pivoted around mid lane. I think Professor Kobe explained that once, how these rotations actually work.
Rotations and translations.
Yeah.
Distinctly
Let's
remember
just call them map movements for now.
the movement between objectives, and those are going to be tested. 10 seconds to Dragon. Baron will be spawning shortly. There is deep vision in the top half of the map. Roccat make it clear where their focus is for the time being. If they're late to this party again...
Baron started in full vision. Chachi is zoning. Jankos is going low. He has the smite. Steve's teleporting, but nowhere to be found. He teleports on a ward that's too far away. No home guards.
Baron's going to be down. Baron's going to be down. It's taken. That's a second of the game for Unicorns, but the team fight's going to follow up. Mr. Rolls is trying to kill Chachi. Chachi forced to hop over the wall.
Fate's
now
call.
Vanda is going to get pulled back by Fate's Call. Nukeduck still holding on to the Chaos
What's the
Storm.
Orianna
He's
ball?
going to throw it down in a second or two. Where is the Shockwave? Key ultimates being used. Steve gets cocooned in place, I believe that was.
Run to the hills, run to the dragon. Roccat could have traded it for the Baron. Memzo Chunk improved recall coming out, only 4 seconds to base. But Hillsang might sacrifice his life to buy some time here.
Find out.
Comically quickly walking, but Dragon should be secured forward. Might have a massive fight. Watch for Chaos Storm. Watch for the flag here. Massive Chaos
Wow,
Storm!
that is massive! Dragon secured by Roccat. Chaos Storm almost insta-gives Power of Evil, and in a 1v4, Nukeduck, he almost wins. Unicorns, however, are able to get away.
Oh, Roccat with the miscommunication, they could have just peeled off. Screw that Dragon, you could have simply won the game right there. 4-man Chaos Storm and Laser from Nukeduck, but ends up using both his summoners defensively. That was close. That was at the edge of your screen. Nobody was watching him, especially not Unicorns. That was a fantastic just trap set up by Nukeduck, but just this team wasn't on board with the idea, and they might lose an inhibitor in the mid lane because of it. 40 seconds. Their Nexus towers may get threatened if Chachi gets Mega Nard, teleports on a minion that defends a tower. Like, all these possibilities are real because the main AoE damage, wave clear, and counter to Orianna ulti, flash ulti is available in Power of Evil. This could be the game.
We'll find out. Inhibitor down. UOL currently going to play it safe.
They're waiting for split push pressure from Chachi. Of course, now they have double split push with the Baron buff. No Baron of Command to defend this from Roccat. Look at these minions, they're getting buffed. Next wave will be coming. Massive wave on the bot lane. Buffed up by Chachi. Just buy some time here, Unicorns.
Nukeduck is alive though.
Here he is, teleport on the minion.
That's going to keep it alive. Hylissang's threatening with the stun. Chachi's arrived. No Mega Nard for a little while. He's currently tired. It popped down in the bottom. On the hunt has been used from Vardags, and this could be the game-winning team fight. There's Fate's call. Gonna pull Vander backwards before he lobs himself right back in. The Shockwave whips.
Misses.
The Shockwave doesn't hit anybody, but Chaos Storm was held onto by Nukeduck. Roccat, they lose an inhibitor and a tower, but they stand strong for now. UOL, they seem to be re-engaging. Look for the Chaos Storm from Nukeduck.
Yeah, just watch how Roccat is pacing around that Orianna ball. Whenever he puts it down, Power Wheel puts it down on the floor, everybody stays away from it. Inhibitor goes down to the sheer amount of zone control. Bottom lane, that massive minion wave knocked down the tower almost. It's on 35% of HP, as we see in your picture-in-picture right there on the bottom left of your screen. Unicorns of Love with a good firm grasp on this game, but the gold is only 4,000 in the difference.
On the series win, Crepo.
Match point.
2 lanes of super minions.
This guy right here, it's like, yeah, that's League of Legends. It's me.
Sheepy's not impressed with the distraction, but he should be impressed.
He
with
was
his
like,
team's
is the crowd
play.
laughing at me? Is there something stuck in my teeth or something? He's just unaware of what's happening around himself. But his team, the Unicorns, yeah, fantastic hold of the map right now. And those Barons, better every time they do them. More secure, and Roccat too late to the party. They could have been sitting on Aspect, traded that first Dragon for the Baron. Said, okay, it's fine, I don't care, push an inhibitor. It's only 3 minutes, the Baron buff you get, so make it count, and then...
Takes Steve forever to kill that banner.
He only has auto attacks, remember. No magic damage, it's immune to magic damage, so... It's that attack speed, scaling attack speed runes is the counter to Baron.
Well, Unicorns of Love now have the arguable toughest test. Get the last line of objectives. They need to buy time for those supers to get in the base.
Steve is waiting in the void gates here with Righteous Glory. Sadly, his belly is sticking out. Unicorns of Love are spotting him with that pink ward.
Horror gets rid of all of the traps.
Just watch mid lane, watch top lane. This game is panic engaged by Roccat because they know. They only have about 30 seconds and Unicorns know that they know.
Yeah. We'll see whether or not Unicorns knowing that Roccat know that Unicorns know will change anything. Mega Nard, the timer has started. The threat is there.
They can straight up dive through this tower as well. 30% is nothing. 1, 2, 3 hits on the tower. It goes down. Steve gets stunned.
The super minions on the Nexus turrets. Roccat have to decide what do they do. They've sent back their members to Waveclaw. They've lost a Nexus turret. Super minions, they're onto the second one. Roccat, they're undecided. Pick one and commit. Roccat, they're going to lose their third inhibitor.
Double combo.
There's a double combo. We see Mr. Rolls is defending the Nexus. Steve trying to hold off the rest of UOL. That was a flash and a Tibbers coming out of Hylissang. Not going to lead to any kills, but Tibbers may get the last hit on the inhib. It's actually PoE that moves in there. All 3 inhibitors down. There's only 1 Nexus turret remaining between a semi-final fight with Fnatic and a flight to Stockholm for the Unicorns of Love. But they're going to play it safe. And they're going to move their way out.
Talk about an anti-climax.
Well,
Chachi.
maybe not.
Nukeduck.
Chachi. Wow.
Flash.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's big. That's big for next fight. So 3 inhibitors down. 1 Nexus tower remains. 1 minute to Baron. 1 minute to Dragon. We've said this before. Let's see. Roccat no longer in a position to trade. They're stuck defending their base. So where Banner of Command does help you clearing waves, but gonna need a whole lot more to that. Yeah, this is where you need a hero steal. Because our observers are having fun with gentlemen are. Yes, am I correct?
Yep. Gentleman playing with his pocket watch as we hit 51 minutes into the game.
At least Renounce is valuable here to clear those creeps quicker. Yeah, frantically pushing out, and Roccat, not only, they're so afraid because in every brush, you know, every step you take, every move you make, UOL could be watching you. Probably are. Could be killing you. So, pushing in mid lane, just keep them in the base and then just peel back. And then, yeah, Fear of the Dark comes out. You have to face check every single brush until you get to that Baron.
Crepo. Middle inhibitors respawn. Banner of Command minion.
Dies.
Gonna get killed up by Mr. Rolls, but look at UOL. They grouped up. The top fell, what, 45 seconds to a minute after the middle one. Maybe a little longer, actually.
This is greedy from Unicorns. They could just simply peel back. Why go for a fight when you can buff yourself up and your minions? Or Nuktak no flash, so has guns available. Boatload of AP. Let's take stock of what they have just now.
Meganar. He's gonna
900
come out.
AP on Nuktak.
Vizichachi has got Megan. Look at the size of that ball. Come on, protect. He'll be able to help UOL out. Here's the engage from Roccat. They've caught Hillesang. I'm not sure that's the best. We are going to see the Fates call in a moment or two. UOL have peeled back. Horo is trying to get Jankos. The shockwave only catches Steve. Horo is able to zone away Jankos, but it's Mr. Rolls that has got power of evil. Now Vardags wants to try clean up the fight. Nuktak, get one onto Horo. He gets another onto Vardags, and there's a flash as a rend. Mr. Rolls has just taken out Vizichachi. There are super minions in the base. They are being dealt with by Steve and by Jankos. Roccat win a 4-0.
The Nexus could really go down. There's 4 siege creeps hitting on that Nexus. It's at 65% right now. This could mean game over. Frantically, Hillesang.
He's trying
that's
to
the wrong base.
Nope, that's not where you want to be. Right.
Told you it was greedy. I love it when I'm right, but at the same time, I hate to see this happening to the Unicorns of Love. That fight is worth analyzing frame by frame, by the way. If you watch how Power of Evil used this ball and how Rawless was baiting it. He stepped forward into the ball twice to get the ult to be cast. Power of Evil said no to the bluff, but he was so busy watching that ball that eventually nothing happened and he died. I don't even know how he died, but somehow he died. Probably eat like... Yeah, let's watch that again. Keep your eyes on Vizichachi here. The ball is going to move forward and then Rawless will eventually on the left side walk into that. Dragon is going down to Roccat. But this mind game is so interesting. Everybody's dancing around this Orianna ball. Rawless is going to walk forward right now. Here, he's trying to bait it. See how he's sidestepping every time? He gets hit. Orianna ulti gets used on Steve only. But how the hell does Power of Evil die here? Gets knocked up somehow and immediately gets popped. And that is the opening for Roccat here. And good positioning by Rawless. And this is why they got him over Woolite, Baron, and Aspect in game 4.
Yamato Cannon, you should be clapping, my friend. Aspect of the Baron. Aspect.
Even our cameramen are getting dizzy just watching this game.
The audience is split.
Yeah, for Unicat, I think it has to win. A Rocket Corn, I don't know.
Rocket Corn. Crepo though. Aspect of the Baron.
But no wards, so right now what Roccat is thinking, is there any place in our base that has a ward? Because Chachi can teleport. Okay, we're clear. Okay, then slowly move out, and the time it takes for you to set up that perimeter, your Baron and your Aspect is gone, so all the excitement will probably die down. But still, yeah, we're hitting the point where it doesn't matter what your gold lead is. We talked about this before. You know how gold leads over time in the same value become less efficient? This is how we can highlight it. 24k to 20k, it's a big lead. 87k to 83k, quite not so big.
Definitely not. 55 minutes on the clock. Roccat, famous for their longer games. I'd like to welcome our North American viewers. Team Solo Mid versus Gravity will follow this series. We could be going to another one, so get your snacks ready. Unicorns of Love.
And this is the point of the game where supports start begging for farm because everybody's on 6 items and you want to be that too. However, no time for that. Baron and Dragon are 6 and 5 minutes away, respectively, so absolutely nothing is going on, but still it is so exciting to watch.
Only one inhibitor left to respawn for Roccat. That will at least buy a few seconds of extra time.
For the backdoor.
For the backdoor.
That is crucial. Right now you can rush to the Nexus and kill it, but if those 3 inhibs are up, you at least have a backup plan. You have like, you know, if the power goes out, one switch goes out, you can put that back up. That's what you're looking for. Yeah, Roccat. I just want to listen to the comms. I wish you could just find out what they're talking about right now. Like, what do we do? Do you want to go out? No, it's too dangerous. They could be here. Like, these are the type of games that end with a silly face check.
PTL needs to do a mic check on this series. So listen on what the teams are doing. But like you said, Crepo, a silly face check, a single team fight, a single positional error can determine the fate of this series.
Okay, wait, is that? So we're this late in the game, and Horo, I've been praising him all game, still hasn't upgraded his trinket. Jesus Christ, Horo, what are you doing? Nukeduck, you have a sweeping lens. So the vision game shifts to a different form this late in the game because they're no more wards, they're barely in a trinket wards. People are sitting on 2 sweepers. Why do you need 2 sweepers? There's only maybe 5 wards on the entire map. And you can find them anyways with your pink ward trinkets. Switch your damn trinkets, double scrying orb, find who you're fighting against. More important, because only supports right now have Sightstone. Junglers have swapped them out.
Tell me how you really feel, Crepo.
Just like, very often you don't get here, because in scrims the game's over, or FF, you know, but at LAN you have to play this out, and yeah, the vision game completely shifts over differently, so switch your trinkets.
Let's step back and think about the match. Does Roccat or Unicorns of Love have momentum on their side?
Roccat have it. Unicorns have tried to get into that base so many times, but have gotten denied every single time. And Chaos Storm right now, Nukeduck, I'm just gonna check one more time. He has 1,035 AP.
Just as a note, Crepo, sorry, I know you're saying 1,035 AP, but he's got 2,500 gold
that he's sitting
and hasn't
on.
spent money to upgrade that trinket.
Nukeduck! What, are you serious?
Yes.
Are you trolling me?
No.
See, I just checked. He has 2.6k gold. He could upgrade his trinket 10 times and still have money for a pink ward. What are you doing with your life, Nukeduck? He has earned 24,000 gold this game. This is what supports can dream of. All right. I earn in a day.
Let's get back to
the game.
The game. Inhibitors being sieged. Wait, is this an engage?
Steve, TP home guards.
Where's the target? Mega Gnar comes. Cancelled. No, cancelled. Yeah, Steve.
Cancel.
Decides against it.
Playing being siege up. Okay.
Look, there's minions on the top inhibitor. Roccat their group. Once Mega Gnar times, there may be an opportunity. Flashes are up for everybody on Roccat. Wow, 2 supers. They may get one. There's a flash for Steve. He's gone way deep. He's found Power of Evil. Horo's been knocked up as well. Jankos is trying to zone. Vizichachi cannot go Mega Gnar. Remember, he's tired. Mr. Rolls has got a kill. Power of Evil may go down. Steve, get down. Power of Evil's down. Horo's down as well. Vordax, however, is still alive. Hillisang's standing. Nexus is under threat from super minions. Unicorns of Love, 4 for 1.
Imagine if Vizichachi just peeled off and teleported for the back door. Nukeduck 1k HP, getting even more gold right here. Perhaps he shall finally upgrade his trinket. Who knows? Maybe the game ends before he does it. And yeah, what an opening. As you said, Mega Gnar times out, flash W, and then it's the moment your heart stops. Like, are they gonna face check into Oriana Bao? Jankos is the only one that got hit there. Aggressive flash from Rawless, and he started hopping forward. This should be the end of the game. You have 40 seconds right now to figure out the plan, how you take down these towers. And 1 Tibbers to defend it all. Oh, he's proxying the wave!
This is fantastic!
Kill the Tibbers!
Crepo, Unicorns of Love have been in Nexus defenses so many times, they've invented new ways to stall the game.
Pull the minions. We have Tibbers defending, but right now, 1 inhibitor's gonna drop. This should be the game. 70 seconds remain on Chachi.
20 seconds on the clock. Roccat in the final hour, in the 4th game. They want to close it out. They should close it out.
Game over, we're going to game 5!
One more battle to determine the next semi-finalist.
Did you see Yamato walk off, power walk like a diva? Oh, I'm loving it.
Now Unicorns need to show all of the progression of the last 2 weeks. On the verge of being reverse swept after an hour-long epic. We are going to Game 5.
I'm so excited.
And it's another Unicorns going to Game 5. I think with the exception of their Gambit quarterfinal, they've gone all 5 games in every playoff they've played this year.
Yeah. The one thing, killing the buzz.
Okay.
How the hell did they lose this game? They had so many things to go for, but they had to get that. You know, they would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that meddling inhibitor that spawned at the end there. They wanted tier 1. If they just rotated to the Baron, took that Baron, then take the inhibitor. It's easier to do that with Baron minions. But props to Roccat for hanging on in this game. What looked like a potential loss, and especially Rawless, how he moves around that Orianna ball, he is conscious of power reveal triggering R. He steps forward, he's like, okay, use it, I have flash. No, now, no, okay, fine, you're dead.
And you want to contrast the difference in ultimates, power reveal shockwaves. The last 3, I think, only hit Maokai. A lot of it because of the Rawls threat, so to speak.
Yeah, he couldn't find an AoE.
Nukeduck could.
Nukeduck did.
Over and over. His Chaos Storms, his Death Rays. Nukeduck dealt the most damage in that game by far. And that was the Nukeduck that everybody talks about from scrims.
Will we see a Victor ban? Because Victor has been pretty interesting in this series. And somebody's shouting my name. Hey, hello. How are you? Yeah, fantastic game. Honestly, very exciting. Couple of mistakes, but you can't get a good game. Okay, you can, but you can't get a good playoff game without somebody screwing up and then at least capitalizing on it. And I'm honestly enjoying this because they're going along, and I didn't expect Roccat to hang on and survive.
Nor did I.
I would have expected a 3-1 here at the end.
Wait, hang on. You didn't expect Roccat to come back from having no inhibitors, no Nexus turrets.
Well, 1, no?
Giving up 2 Barons. I mean, towards that last push, they had nothing.
And then they get Aspect and Baron and do absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't, because they were so afraid of that 1 ward, 1 backdoor. Yeah, very interesting. But how did it come to be? How did this early game start out? Good early pressure though from Horo. I feel his Elise was better, but I believe there's a panel of experts that can tell us more about that.
We will hear from them after the break though, because the best of 5 is now 1 game away from being decided between the 4th seed Unicorns of Love and the 5th seed Roccat. We will be back to look at the deciding game when we return after this. For Unicorns to book that trip to Stockholm. The hop, the crunch, wow! He goes way wide, gets the Nara against the wall, all of Unicorns follow, power of evil. Now Vardax wants to try clean up the fight. Nukeduck, get one onto Horo, he gets another! Mr. Rolls has got a kill, power of evil, may go down! Steve, get down! Power of evil's down, Horo's down as well! One more battle to determine the next semi-finalist.